welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a compilation video of all the previous day's story times. I love the support that you guys have been giving this channel, and I am just posting an extra video today for you guys to go and watch. I know that when I'm listening to different story times, I want them to be extra long, and sometimes I miss like a week or two, so today's just like all the videos put together. And thank you guys for listening for the past few days, and I'll get straight into it. So, today's video is all about a crazy boyfriend who is super lazy and doesn't do any work around the house. Uh, let's get into it. So, Jamie is the main poster today. She sent in this story time about her bad boyfriend. She is a executive at a law firm, and um, she's been working hard for the past few years to get through school, and now she's going ahead and got promoted recently to this new role. Her boyfriend, on the other hand, hasn't really been doing too much, right? He got kicked out of his med school program, which is not, that's pretty sad. If you get kicked out of med school, that sucks. And when he got kicked out, he got into a deep depression, right? And he hasn't been doing much, but it's been 5 years. He hasn't found a job. He hasn't gone ahead and tried to get into a different med school program, right? He already has the bachelor's degree. He just has to go through this, like last part of school kind of thing. And he hasn't been doing anything for 5 years. And now he's been sitting around the house and he hasn't been even cleaning up. And this all blew up at a um family like get together, right? They were getting together for Thanksgiving, and her and her boyfriend went to his house and to go ahead and meet up with the mom. The mom, on the other hand, wasn't being like super respectful to the girlfriend, even though she just got through her law program and her like basically internship, right? It was very underpaid for being like a lawyer kind of thing, but you know, she went ahead and started just making fun of the boyfriend. Like, the boyfriend's mom just started going ahead and ripping into her as soon as she got there, saying how she's super ugly, how she doesn't go ahead and work hard, she doesn't do very much around the house because she's seen pictures from the boyfriend. And she's just ripping into her about how could she be a good wife, how could she be a good this and that. If she doesn't go ahead and clean up, she doesn't cook any food, she doesn't go ahead and take care of herself in any way, right? And these are all lies, right? She does clean up and she'll make dinner here and there, but the boyfriend's at home all day, right? He's not going ahead and making dinner. He's not going ahead and making anything like that. But the mom is just ripping into this girlfriend because, oh, you need to go on a diet when she's not overweight. I mean, she's normal. But the mom is ripping into her, oh, you're too fat, you're too fat, you're too fat, you look ugly, you don't have a great job, but she just got promoted, right? She's just out of school, kind of thing. She's younger than her boyfriend. And so the mom is just acting like this girl should be doing way more than she actually is. And she's already doing quite a bit. But the mom is just saying how she doesn't do anything around the house, she doesn't do anything like that. And the boyfriend isn't defending her. The boyfriend isn't saying anything like that. And eventually it gets to the point where she starts going in on kids, right? And so for a long time, they've been trying for kids and they've been gone ahead and they couldn't have it. They are having fertility issues with the boyfriend side, actually, but uh, she starts crying because it's all dinner, right? And it's in front of the whole family. It's not just, between her and the mom, it's between her, the mom, the brothers, the boyfriend, the grandma's there, right? The whole family. And no one is saying anything to this mom. They're just letting her rip into her for no reason. And the boyfriend doesn't even defend her, kind of thing. That's where it's really messed up. So she starts crying because they've been trying for a long time to have kids. They just can't afford the fertility treatments yet. And they want to have kids. They both want to have two kids, at least, probably around three or four, what they really want. But she's working all day. And now the boyfriend isn't doing anything like that. And so, you would think that the boyfriend would defend her, kind of thing. But the boyfriend doesn't do that. The boyfriend just sits around accepting it. And so she leaves the room crying. She runs out to the car and she's just crying in the car, and no one goes out for her, right? It's been 2 hours of her crying out in the car, and the boyfriend finally shows up and he says, why'd you leave? You should have stayed in there. The mom was just saying true facts. We haven't had kids. Your job isn't that amazing. You don't go ahead and clean up at the house that much. Things like that. And so she's like ripping into this guy at this point. She's saying how, why didn't you go ahead and defend me? I'm working hard all day long to go ahead and try to make progress. You don't even have a job. You could go ahead and clean up the house. You're home all day. If you want the house cleaner, clean up. You want to go ahead and work hard and become the stay-at-home parent, you can do that. You are the one with the fertility issues. You can go and do this. Why didn't you defend me? Your mom is saying the reason I can't have kids is because I'm fat when you're going ahead with the fertility issues, you know? And she's just getting more and more angry because this boyfriend, he's not saying anything. The boyfriend is just taking it over and over and over again. And at the end, he's like, "Are you done? Why are you ripping into me? I did defend you. And I said to my mom that that wasn't very nice." And she asked him when. He said, a few minutes after you left, I told her that, maybe you were a little harsh on her. A little harsh? Brother was ripping into her for over 3 hours, saying that everything she does is the worst possible thing. She should be doing more for the boyfriend. She should be doing this, this, and this, when the boyfriend isn't doing any of that. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, fuck you, man. Like, what are you doing? You should be able to go ahead and defend me. And so she says, you know what? I'm going to go home. And so she takes the car and she starts driving home. And the boyfriend stays there, right? He doesn't go home with her. He doesn't go ahead and do anything. And so the whole family starts texting her a few minutes later, like, "Hey, why'd you leave the boyfriend behind? Why'd you go ahead and not help out clean up? Why'd you leave?" And she ends up calling up the family and she says, "You know what? It's supposed to be private, right? That between me and my boyfriend about our fertility issues." And the mom went ahead and tried to make it more than private. And so I should let you guys know what's actually going on. The boyfriend has the fertility issues, and we were trying to go ahead and save up for it. I just got promoted. The boyfriend isn't working. The boyfriend cleaned up the house, right? And so she lets it all out. And the boyfriend doesn't say anything. And the whole family starts going ahead and leaving texts in the messages like, wait, what? I thought the boyfriend, he says he has a good job. He's working at this law firm. He's gotten a new promotion. He's gotten the fertility issue. Like, he doesn't have fertility issues. It's you. And so apparently for years, this boyfriend has been lying, saying that, she is one of the worst people in the world. She got kicked out of this med school program that the boyfriend got kicked out of. All the bad things that he's been doing, he put on her. And so the mom ended up apologizing, and she apologized to the mom like, "Oh, I thought that this was just like crazy." And so she says, "That's kind of insane. Why would you lie to me like that? Why would you lie to your whole family saying that all your problems are actually my problems? Everything you're doing is my fault, right?" And so she ended up leaving him, saying, "Right, you want to go ahead and lie like that? That's crazy. I'm out." And she ended up leaving that guy that day, left a 5-year relationship over the boyfriend lying to the family like a crazy maniac. And so she ended up leaving him. He ended up calling her that afternoon saying, "Hey, you know, uh, I'm sorry. Can we please talk this out? Can we please do that?" And he's been talking to her for the past few weeks, trying to go ahead and uh make this work, but it doesn't make sense. Why would you want to make that work? And so she left him, and she's not going to go back, and she really shouldn't. That guy was crazy. So I'm happy for her. I hope she finds someone even better. Um, you guys should like and subscribe for this video, and I hope to see you guys soon next time. Talk to you guys then. Bye. Hello, guys. Welcome to this new Reddit Stories video. I love making these videos, and I hope that you guys can like and subscribe if you do like listening to Reddit story videos. I'm trying to post daily and consistently. So if you do like it, please let me know. I will continue posting for you guys. There'll be lots of videos here, and you can go ahead and um, get videos you'll never hear from anyone else right here. And let's get straight into it. Today's video was sent in by Jimmy. Jimmy is a construction worker. He works on laying concrete, which is a hard job with good hours, but you know, you don't get paid that much, and it's very difficult and painstaking. So he makes decent money, not great, but his girlfriend, he ended up trying to get married to, and the story's about how she's been crazy for the past few weeks, all about what she wants for this wedding, and he isn't sure if he wants to go ahead and keep the wedding on or anything like that. So let's get straight into it. So today's video was posted by Jimmy. He sent in the video to me through my Instagram. If you want to go ahead and send in your videos and other ideas like that, please do. I'll read them on here if you want, or you can just go and send it in. I'll give you some advice. Um, if you don't want to go ahead and use your Instagram, I got a Discord server, I got anything like that, please let me know. I want to read stories that, no one else has read on the internet. So please do. So Jimmy, he sent it in through the Instagram, and his girlfriend said that he needs to go ahead and engage to him, right? They've been dating for almost a year now, and it's been a while, right? And so he was thinking about, maybe I should get married to her at some point, but he wasn't thinking about doing it this day. But she says, "You know what? I need you to do this. This is my one ask right now. I need you to go ahead and get married to me. I need you to get engaged, or else I'm going to have to leave because I'm getting up there in age." Right? They were both in their mid 30s. And so he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get a ring. And so he got a ring. It wasn't that great of a ring, but it was a ring. Um, it was a moissanite, so not a diamond, but looks very similar to one. And she didn't like the moissanite, so that was the first thing. He brought home this gorgeous big jewel because moissanites are really cheap in comparison to diamonds, but she acts like, "How could you afford this giant diamond?" And so he's like, it's not a diamond, it's a moissanite." Right? And she's like, "Oh, I don't like it." And she put it back in the box and threw the box at him. It's like, "Oh, wow." And she's like, "I want a diamond, and it has to be this same size." And so he did like quick math on it. It's gonna go from $1,000 ring to a like $20,000 ring because of how much diamonds are. And so he's like, "Whoa, I'm not sure if I can afford that." And so he'd let her know, like, "Hey, I might not be able to afford buying a diamond this size." And she's like, "I need a diamond. I need you to do this, or else I'm going to go ahead and leave you, right? If you don't go ahead and buy me this giant diamond, I will leave you." So he's like, "Okay." And he took out a loan and he got this massive ring. And, he felt bad, like, "Man, I'm taking out a loan for a diamond. This is a down payment on a house level loan. I can go ahead and buy a condo with this kind of thing. Like, you know, not a great condo, but like easily a good down payment on a condo kind of thing." And he's like, "Okay, well, she wants it. And this is going to be my best investment, right? Investing into your girlfriend, making her your wife, that's probably going to be your best investment." At least that's what he was thinking. And so he brought the diamond to her. And she's like, "Oh, this is so gorgeous. I'm so happy with it." And so he's like, "Okay, great." And he ended up going ahead and uh, he bought her this lab grown diamond because that's what size it had to be to go ahead and be somewhat reasonable. And it wasn't a $20,000 ring, it was like five when it was a lab grown. He didn't tell her it was lab grown, but he did buy a lab grown ring. And she ended up going ahead and being super happy with it. And she ended up going ahead and they became fiancés. And they started planning out this wedding. And she says, "Okay, I need these giant pink roses. The wedding has to be this shade of white. It has to be this, this, and this." And so he's like, "Okay." And it wasn't like a pearl white or an off white where it was like normal. It had to be this specific shade of white that was like triple the price. It's like ivory tower, something, something white. And it's like 10 times the price just for anything. Because the only people that were willing to go ahead and use that are the people trying to get married. And so he went ahead and he's like, "Okay, I'll get it. I'll get you this specific white." And they started playing out this wedding. It went from like, if you just got a different shade, it would be a tenth of the price for everything, right? If you got a slightly different pink rose, it would have been a tenth of the price. You went ahead and got this or this, it would be a tenth of the price. And so he started doing the math, like, "Man, this is getting up there." And so she ended up planning out $150,000 wedding. He's doing the math, like, "Can I even afford these payments?" And she's saying, "Well, you know what? I'm going to get my job here in a few weeks. I can go ahead and help you out." And so he's like, "Okay, you know what? You're right. You're about to become a nurse. This will be fine." So they end up going through with all the signing up for the weddings and stuff. So he put down the deposit on everything. And then when it got closer to the wedding, she started inviting more and more people. And she said no to more and more of his people, right? He tried to go ahead and invite his childhood best friend. And he ended up getting in trouble a while back for selling drugs. And so she was like, "Okay, we're not inviting a felon to the wedding. That is not going to happen, babe. I don't care if he's your childhood best friend and he got in trouble for selling a little bit of weed and hookah. I don't want him at my wedding." So he's like, "Okay, fine. You don't want him at our wedding? I won't invite him." And he let friend know, like, hey, I'm getting married. She really doesn't want you at our wedding. I'm sorry, man. I want you to be there. Let me know, right? If it's gonna be a major problem. And the friend's like, okay, man. You know, this girl, is she the one? Because that sounds a little controlling. And so he's like, I think so. I love her. And so it gets even closer to the wedding. They have all the guest lists, and it's like a month out. And she just graduated from her program, and so she's about to go ahead and become this nurse. And he asks her, "Oh, could you start applying for jobs? So after the wedding, right after our honeymoon and our wedding, you can go ahead and have one." And she says, I don't think I want to go ahead and be a nurse anymore. And so he has $150,000 worth of loans. He paid off the ring already, but still 150K worth of consumer debt. And he's like, wow, I don't think I can afford this if you don't go ahead and become a nurse. And so she's like, well, you have to go ahead and pay for this. I need this for my wedding. I need this, babe, please. And so he's like, fine. Um, I guess so. And then she started going ahead and kicking out more and more of his people, right? It went from that first friend to now they're only a few days out, and she has to kick out his mother, his sister. All basically the only person that she allowed at the wedding was the dog was gonna be a ring bearer, and his one younger sister was gonna be able to go ahead and be the flower girl. That was it. The only reason she was able to be the flower girl is because they didn't have a young kid to go ahead and do that. And so he's like, wow, my family can't even be part of my own wedding. This is messed up. I have to kick my family out not only before the wedding, just a few days, but everything. And so he's like, he finally puts a foot down. Like, no, we're inviting every single one of these people. I said that I want to go ahead and invite. This is my wedding too. This wedding is super expensive. I'm gonna at least get my family there. And she's like, no. And so he's like, wow, you want to go ahead and kick me away from my friends. You want to kick me away from my family. You want to go ahead and kick ourselves into this deep debt that we can't afford, all because you want to go ahead and have the perfect wedding according to you. But the wedding isn't even perfect according to me. You want to go ahead and do all this, and then we don't even get to go ahead and have the best wedding for me. You just want to go ahead and have the best wedding for you. I want to go ahead and have my family there. And I'm paying $150,000 for this. It's going to be a 15K just for the interest a year. And so he's like, if I'm paying for this, I need you to go ahead and invite them. She's like, no. So he's like, okay, wedding's off. And so they end up kicking out the sister from his cheap condo that he has. Um because he is up there in age. He's been saving for this condo his whole life, kicking her out. And she was upset, like, I need to go ahead and talk to you about this. We need to go and talk. I want to go and talk. It's like, no, I'm good. I don't want to talk to you about the wedding right now if you aren't willing to go ahead and invite my family. You want to spend all this crazy money. I've been telling you no. I don't want to spend this much. And so she's like, well, we need to talk. We need to talk. We need to talk. Please, babe. And so he's like, no, I'm going to put my foot down. And so she got kicked out of the apartment, and she ended up going ahead and staying with her mom for a few days. The mom ended up giving him a call, like, hey, you need to go and pay for this wedding. This is her day. Please, don't ruin this for us. And you have to go ahead and continue with this. And so he's like, no, with how you're acting, I don't even want to get engaged. I don't want to even be engaged with you. And so they end up calling off the wedding. They end up calling off the engagement, and he got most of his money back. He had 10% for the deposit, which does suck losing 15,000, but you're losing 15,000 compared to losing half of everything and being $150,000 in debt. They're still talking, trying to go ahead and make it work, but he's saying that it might not with the looks of it. And so they're trying to go ahead and make it work. I hope it does for him, right? I hope she can go ahead and see some sense, like, this was crazy, her previous actions. And she'll go ahead and be one of the best fiancés ever and wives ever. And if not, maybe you'll find someone even better than her, right? I know it hurts right now trying to go ahead and do all that, but I think you'll see it in time that it is one of the best things to go ahead and break up with her. Um, but, if you guys like this story and you want to hear more unique Reddit stories, please let me know. Drop them in the comments. Go ahead and drop them in your Discord if you want to go ahead and hear my opinions on your Reddit stories or you want to hear them read. Please let me know. And if you want to go ahead and see more, like and subscribe. And that will be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Goodbye. I love you guys. And I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye. Guys, welcome to this latest story. Today's video is about a restaurant owner who he has been dealing with this crazy customer over the last few days. And let's get straight into it. So, Joey sent in this story. He sent it in through the Discord. If you want your stories read on this channel, please let me know. Go ahead and put them in the DMs. Go ahead and put them in the Discord or Instagram, or go ahead and put them in the comments below. I'll read them on the channel. If you want to go ahead and let me know, please. I'll read them right here, and we can get me or the comments, or you just want to hear someone read out your stories, let me know. If you don't even want to do that and you just want to give me a rant, please do. I'll go ahead and listen to you guys for a while. But getting into it, Joey here, he owns a Tex-Mex restaurant, and if you guys haven't had Tex-Mex, man, you should try it. I live in Texas, so you can find them almost anywhere. Oh, they are so great, right? I love these brisket cheesy tacos. Ooh, yeah. No, there's a good place down the road for me. But Joey here, he owns a Tex-Mex restaurant, and he goes ahead. He has one of the most popular restaurants in his area. If you're gonna go to this city, you're gonna go ahead and hit up his restaurant. If you got the money for it, kind of thing. Um, it's just that important. So Joey here, he has this restaurant, and he has a lot of these influencers come into his restaurant, and these aren't really influencers, right? At the end of the day, you got 1,000 people on Yelp who follow you. You got this or that, right? Do you really? Are you really an influencer, right? But she posts food reviews, and so this latest one, she comes in here. She immediately goes up to him like, "I need free food. Give me a plate of your best tacos. I'm an Instagram food critic." And it's 2026, y'all, right? At the end of the day, how could you still be a food influencer in the year 2026 after Cartman over here from South Park went ahead and became a food influencer, and people are still doing that in the year 2026? Bro, we need to bully these guys even more if you are still able to go ahead and be a food influencer in the year 2026. Come on, guys. And so she went ahead and said, "I need free food. Give me all the free food. I want your tamales. I want your brisket tacos. I want this. I want this. I want this." And he's like, "Ma'am, that's a $200 order you just ordered for yourself." And she's like, "I don't care. Give it to me." And so he's like, "Are you going to be paying?" She's like, "No, of course not. I'm an influencer." And so he's like, "Okay, I can't do that for you, ma'am. Uh, Restaurants that have razor thin margins, we can't go ahead and pay our employees well if you're going to be going ahead and eating up all of our margins." And she went ahead and cried, "Oh, are you calling me fat? Why? I'm not fat. You're just mean." He's like, "No, ma'am, I'm not calling you fat. I'm saying that at the end of the day, you're going ahead and trying to get free food out of us, $200 worth of food. You want to go ahead and make you all the." She ordered 3 things of sopapillas, which they take a good bit of time to make, right? He only has one fryer, and so we're supposed to go ahead and make chips as well, and you want to take 30 minutes of our fryer time just for your sopapillas. She's like, yes. Yes, I need my sopapillas. You need to be giving me your sopapillas. And so he's like, no, ma'am, I don't. If you're going to pay for it, sure. She's like, fine, I'll pay for it. And so he goes ahead, he makes this order for her. And she starts eating it all up, and she eats every last bite. And so he's like, okay, great. You like the food. And so she ends up saying, oh, this was so great. I'm going to make sure to leave a good review. I'm so happy that you're giving me this food for free. And so he's like, no, 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 ma'am. I told you many times that this food is not free. If you try to go ahead and leave without paying, I will call the cops. We have your license plate outside. We know who you are. You showed me your Yelp. All right, I know who you are. At this point, you have to go ahead and pay. And so she's like, no, I'm not paying. You gave it to me for free. It's on camera. You gave it to me for free. And so he's like, no, it's not on camera. I told you the complete opposite of that. Ma'am, if you don't want to go ahead and pay, right, maybe you can go ahead and work something out with the lady in the back. She's going on maternity leave. If you cover like 2 or 3 of her shifts, we can call it a day. But otherwise, you have to pay. So she's like, no, no, no. You told me it's free. So he's like, no, ma'am, it's not free. You had to pay. And she's like, no. And she grabs all her stuff, runs out the door. But as she's running out the door, she trips and falls over the exit door because she thought it was a pull door and it's actually a push. She trips and falls and she spills out her purse everywhere. And so he ends up having enough time to go ahead and block off the door. There's no customers leaving. And she's like, you have to go ahead and pay or else I'm calling the cops. You have to pay right now. And since you tried to leave, what are you trying to do, ma'am? Right? This is a restaurant. We're just a family owned business. We're not giant. We're well known, but not crazy. And so she's like, you have to go ahead and let me do this. You're rich. Your business is well known enough. If you want to go ahead and do this, I'll rip into your business. And so he's like, no, ma'am, I do not. This is crazy if you want to go ahead and have $200 worth of food. And since you tried to run away, I might end up calling the cops now. And this is your last chance. You have to go ahead and pay. She's like, fine, go ahead and make me one more martini. I'll pay for the whole bill right now. Like, I guess I will. So he made her a martini, and she's like, okay, I'll go and pay the bill. And so she's waiting on this martini, but the door's locked at this point. So she tries to go ahead and sneak out while he's trying to make this martini. And oh, look, the door is locked. And we just saw you try to run away again on now a $210 bill. And so he calls the cops, and the cops show up. And so she starts crying to the cops. This guy said that I can have all this food for free, and now he's not going ahead and giving it to me. And so she's saying that this guy is such a liar and a thief. He has an advertisement online, and she makes up an AI advertisement. Oh, you had to go ahead. You buy one martini, you get all this food for free. And they're like, ma'am, this is number one AI. Number two, that would just never be something any business would put out. There's no way you could have thought that was real. What are you doing? And uh the business owner is like, ma'am, that's not real. What are you doing? And she's freaking out at this point where the previous owner, the business owner over here, he is saying he's just being normal. And, that she's just acting absolutely insane. And the cops are just listening to all this and they're just laughing because, like, how insane do you have to be to think that you're going to get $210 worth of free food and then just run away from the bill? And so they're starting to side with the business owner, and she's seeing this. She grabs all her stuff and tries to run away again because at this point the door's unlocked. And she makes it all the way to the car, surprisingly, right? She's surprisingly pretty fast for like a 4-year-old woman trying to get free food. Um, and she says, like, fuck you guys. Fuck everything you were about. You're a terrible cop. Everything about you is terrible. I hate you guys. I hate you. leave me alone. And so she jumps in her car and starts driving away as fast as possible. And, you know, fun thing about some states, right? You're able to go ahead and pit maneuver cars. So the cops immediately hop in their car as soon as she's trying to pull away because she's saying like, screw you to the cops, saying that they're all pigs or whatever, and that she shouldn't be getting into any trouble. The cops were able to go ahead and get in theirs, and immediately, as soon as she's leaving the parking lot, they're able to go ahead and pit maneuver her into this giant sign. They have this absolutely massive sign that, when drunk kids leave the parking lot, instead of going ahead and making it out, they'll go ahead and hit this sign, right? So the business owner, he made this sign purposely to go ahead and basically be a speed bump for if anyone's absolutely completely drunk, they're going to hit the sign instead of another car or going ahead and making it onto the road kind of thing. So you have to be, you know, kind of precise around it. And so they pit maneuver her into this absolutely massive sign. Like imagine like 2-3 times thicker than like a normal size pole for this size sign. It's like a billboard size sign so people can see the business. And the cops end up pit maneuvering her into this sign and say, like, hey, ma'am, what are you doing? And they ended up having to arrest her, and so she had to pay a massive ticket for running away on the bill. They have to go ahead and pay the bill and a 20% tip to the waiter who's serving her. They had to go ahead and pay for all of the repairs on the car. So it's ends up coming out to like $5,000 worth of damages to this girl for going ahead and trying to run away on this bill, which is absolutely crazy. Why would you try to do that, right? This is probably the most expensive tacos you could have possibly gotten. Is it really worth it? I don't think so. And so I am proud of this business owner for going ahead and, standing up for what's right. Because I don't think these Yelp reviewers, even back in the day, made sense. So now, especially in 2026, they don't. They really don't. Like, there are some like big YouTubers who will go ahead and make videos on like trying the new fast food or item, and those guys make sense, right? If you have 100,000 subscribers, or even if you don't, you're just trying to taste the new fast food thing, and you're trying to go ahead and review that. That makes sense. But you're trying to go ahead and review a small business. You have like 1,000 people, and you're trying to get this stuff for free. Like that doesn't make sense. Because like at least when the even big YouTubers do that, they're paying for their food. Like these guys aren't. So it doesn't make sense at all. And so she ended up getting into a massive car accident, because of herself, and had to pay for a bunch of damages to her front bumper because they rammed her into it, and then she also has to go and pay for the back. Because of where she lives, she has to go ahead and pay for it. It's not like the cops have to go and pay for it, like, in California or whatever. So, right, man, don't try to run away from cops in a pit maneuver type state. Because I live in Texas. I used to live in California. I would never try to run away here in Texas. Because, like, at least in California, I knew if I'm going to run, they had to go and pay for the damages. And they have to go ahead and make sure, like, they're not going and overdoing it. Because, if I get injured in that pit maneuver, it's on them. But here in Texas, it's like, you could be in some serious accidents and they don't care. So, but yeah, don't run away from cops. Don't try to run out on your bill. That's messed up, especially if it's a small business. And please do not try to be a food influencer in the year 2026. Like, what the heck are you doing, ma'am? Pretty dumb. But, goodbye, guys. I love you. If you have your own unique story, please leave it in the comments below. Go ahead and put it in the Discord. Please DM me. If you just want to rant to me, it doesn't even have to be part of the YouTube video. Just let me know. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back to a Reddit story video. These are unique Reddit stories posted by you guys here in the comments and in the community. So if you want to go ahead and have your video stories read out, please DM me, put them in the Discord, put them in my Instagram story, something, right? Just let me know. Even if you don't want them part of a video, I get that, right? But I just like to read them, right? I like drama, so please DM me. I'll go ahead and read them. If you just want to go ahead and rant to someone, I'll be here. Please let me read your juicy drama. But today's video was posted by Bobby. Bobby over here, he likes buying scratch offs, which is kind of dumb, right? At the end of the day. But he is in his mid 20s. He just got out of school and he bought a scratch off. So let's get into the story. Right. So Bobby, he is dating Jamaica. Jamaica over here, she is a nursing student. She's trying to go ahead and become a nurse, and she wants to go ahead and eventually become a nurse practitioner, which that's pretty cool work, right? But it takes a lot of time. And so she doesn't have an amazing job. And she's still in school. And Bobby, he just got out of school. He's trying to become a dentist. And so he just got his dentist job. And since he was 18, he's been buying a scratch off ticket every Friday, just for fun. And so, th- they haven't been dating this long. So it's about 6 months into the relationship. And he ends up going ahead and buying a scratch off ticket. This scratch off ticket ends up winning. And he won $100,000. He's like, whoa, this is crazy. And so he just thinks about how much great things this $100,000 can do for him and his girl eventually, right? And he is planning on marrying her eventually, but currently they are not engaged. Currently, they are not even close to getting engaged because it's only been 6 months, right? I know I posted a video a few days ago about that one guy who tried to get married after 9 months and his girlfriend was absolutely insane. But, most people don't do that. Most people try to go ahead and get married after like a year, maybe 2 years, 3 years, but they're not getting married day one. And 6 months in is basically day one. And so he's thinking, way too early to get married, right? I'm not going to get married, but I'm going to go ahead and build a future for her, right? And so he ends up telling her over dinner, right? He's like, hey, right? They have a dinner every day together, and he has like some leftovers in the fridge, but he's like, hey, let's go out for pizza, right? And so pizza is his favorite food, and so he tells her, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and get some pizza. You want to get pizza? Let's go and talk. And so she hears, oh, let's talk, right? That's probably a problem, but it's not a problem this time. And so he lets her know, hey, I just won $100,000 scratch off ticket, right? And she's like, whoa, this is so crazy, right? You have some student loans, and this is gonna pay them off. This is gonna do this and this. You can pay for the rest of my college. You can go ahead and do all this crazy stuff. And so she's like, whoa, thank you. This is gonna be amazing. And so he's thinking, well, I'm gonna go ahead, and he starts letting her know what he's gonna plan on doing with the money. And he's like, I'm gonna pay off the rest of my student loans, right? He has 22,000 of that, and then he has he wants to go ahead and put half into his retirement fund and half into a down payment for a house, for a condo. And so she's like, oh, that sounds so amazing, but can you please go ahead and upgrade my car? Right? She's driving a new-ish car. It's a Lexus 2023, right? So it's only like 3 years old, but she's like, hey, I need to go ahead and get a brand new Lexus. I love my Lexus. I'm gonna go ahead and get a brand new one, but this one needs to be the SUV kind. And so he's like, whoa, that's not cool, man. I don't want to do that. And so she's like, but you just won the lottery. You can easily buy one of these for me. I just need to go ahead and buy this. We need it. And so she's going ahead and like they're basically fighting in this pizzeria, right? And so she's like, I need this car. 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 Basically throwing a temper tantrum over getting a brand new car, saying that he's a jerk for going ahead and not buying her a brand new car since he just won the lottery. And she's yelling this out in the middle of this pizza restaurant. And so everyone's looking at her like, man, that guy's an asshole. Right? If you won the lottery, you could buy your girl a car, right? And so now he's having random strangers walk up to her saying, sister, you're in the right. You should totally be buying he should totally be buying you a brand new car because he just won the lottery. And they're now walking up to him like, hey, buy me a car. I want a car too. You won the lottery. And so now it's all over this town that this guy won the lottery because of this girl, right? Someone recorded them and posted it on there's this app called Neighborhood, right? And so like a bunch of people get to go ahead and post about their neighbors and like what's going on in their town kind of thing, events. And so someone posted a clip of this girlfriend saying that he won the lottery and now he has a bunch of random strangers coming up to her. But, before all that, like as that is happening, as the video is originally being posted, they're still crying in the restaurant, right? Saying, hey, I'm not going to go ahead and stay with you tonight if you're going to go ahead and cry over a car. I'm going to go ahead and stay at my mom's for a few days and then we're going to talk again. And so she ends up going out to his mom's house and this video of him and her talking at the pizza restaurant gets posted. And so she ends up going ahead, going back to their apartment, and uh, she ends up talking to her family, and her dad's calling him as soon as he gets to his mom's house. Why aren't you buying my girl her brand new Lexus? I heard you won a lottery. You need to buy her the Lexus. And so he tells the dad, hey, it's not the lottery. It's a scratch off ticket for 100,000. I'm just trying to put this towards my retirement and buying us an apartment, right? Our lease is almost up. I want to go ahead and start searching for a condo. We can go ahead and put 20% down payment on that, 30% down payment on that, and we can go ahead and have a nice place. And so the dad's like, oh, that makes sense. Sorry. From the way she's making it sounds like you won the multi-state lottery. And so, you know, the dad's actually understanding of the story, right? And then he gets a he gets text messages blowing up from her whole extended family. The whole family is now making fun of him all over the internet, right? It's not in a group chat between all of them. They're going ahead and making posts on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, basically the whole thing, just going ahead saying that this boyfriend is such a jerk, right? He is a lawyer. He's going ahead and doing all this crazy stuff. He's making good money and he won the lottery. Oh, he's such a jerk as soon as he gets money, right? Imagine being that much of a jerk after you win the lottery, right? And so he ends up saying, well, I'm not trying to go ahead and be a jerk. I didn't win the multi-state lottery. I won like 20 bucks basically, right? In comparison. And so, he ended up commenting on a bunch of them. Half of them are saying, oh, it's $100,000, right? Why are you going to buy an $80,000 car, right? I agree with you, man. Sorry. She's making it sound like it's a multi-state lottery, right? And then the other half are still like, well, you should buy her a car, right? Why aren't you buying her a car? And now people on this neighborhood group are now seeing this post of them fighting there. And so now the whole town knows that you won the lottery. And they're all thinking it's the multi state, like Powerball type lottery. It's actually a scratch off, right? And so he's like, whoa, what do I do? Right? Because now he's going out, he's shopping for groceries, and people are walking up like, hey, you're going to pay for my groceries, right? I saw you in the lottery. You should pay for mine. And so now the whole town thinks he's either a jerk for going ahead and not posting, buying their, food, going ahead and paying for their laundry when they go to the laundromat in their apartment, things like that. So he's getting all these things, and he ends up, like, basically saying, hey, girlfriend, you need to post a retraction. Everyone is thinking this is a statewide lottery. Post how much I actually won, please. Because half the people are now thinking that I'm just an asshole for thinking that I won a multi state lottery, that I won a ton of money when I actually won $100,000. But now, the girlfriend doesn't do that. And she's like, well, okay, if you buy me a car, I'll go ahead and post a retraction. And so he's like, I can't afford to buy you a car. It's $100,000. You want to buy an $80,000 car. You don't want the hundredth, right? That's eating up 80% of the money. I want to go ahead and build this up for our future. And so she's like, well, then I'm not taking down the post. Is the post worth $80,000 to you? And so he's like, no. And he ends up talking to a lawyer because, like, it's the whole town thinking that he's a jerk for not buying them stuff. He's a lawyer who needs his reputation to be good, or else he can't go ahead and get any new clients, and he pays his bills with these clients, right? And so it's affecting his law firm, it's affecting him, right? It's affecting him, it's affecting the senior staff, it's affecting everyone. And so now he has to go ahead and he talks to a scandal lawyer, like a reputational lawyer who deals with families. And he talks to them and they say, yeah, well, this is considered defamatory because it is defaming you and you have damages here. And so he says, well, you know what? We're not going to actually sue her, but let's go ahead and send her a letter. It's going to scare her into taking down this and posting a retraction, right? That's all that's going to happen. And so he ends up sending out this. They haven't broken up yet, but he ends up having to send it out because it's crazy if you want to go ahead and do that. And so he ends up posting this lawsuit to her, right? Just like a threat of a lawsuit, not an actual one. And so she gets this from them, and she starts crying online. Oh, my boyfriend is suing me because he won the lottery and now he's not going ahead and doing this. Now he's trying to sue me for saying that he won the lottery when he did win the lottery. But it's a scratch off. It's not the lottery. It's not going ahead and winning the $100 million prize or whatever. It's winning 10, right? Basically like 100 compared to 10, right? 100,000 to 10,000, right? That's closer in lifestyle to 100 million to a million, right? Basically compared to 100,000, right? He can't retire off this money. He can't go ahead and buy everyone everything they ever wanted, right? He has a good bit, but he doesn't have a crazy amount. And so he ended up having to go ahead and threaten her with a lawsuit. And so now he has the extended family going ahead and saying to him, like, oh, why are you trying to sue her? Why are you trying to sue her? Why are you trying to do all this crazy stuff? And, he ends up talking to the closer family, right? The closer family is more considerate, like, hey, I didn't win the street lottery. I won this. And the dad's like, yeah, I get it, right? I get her trying to do this, and I'm telling her, just take down the post. That's all that the dad wants, all the mom wants, all the brother wants, all anyone wants, except for her and the extended family who are just like craving this trauma. And um she ends up having to go ahead and pay for all this to happen. And she ends up taking it all the way to court, which they weren't trying to do. They were just trying to get the post down. She ends up taking it all the way to court, fighting them over this post. But she's not like making money from it. She's not a famous person. But the town is seeing this, right? Everyone's seeing this. And so the girlfriend ended up saying like all this crazy stuff online about the boyfriend, and they end up going ahead and doing all this crazy stuff, and she fights him, and then the judge ends up actually siding with the boyfriend, which is crazy. And the boyfriend ends up going ahead and winning this lawsuit, and it was for a few thousand, right? It wasn't for like a multi-million-dollar thing, but the girlfriend freaks out online again. Oh, my boyfriend is doing this, and they end up saying like, just take down the posts, right? And so it just keeps on happening where they're threatening her, she fights them, and then she loses because like, just take down the post. That's all the judge is saying to do. They end up going ahead and just getting the account deleted from Facebook and everywhere because like there are judgments against her. And so they end up going ahead and saying, hey, um, I'm done, right? And now they end up breaking up about this. They end up doing all this crazy stuff. All because she wanted to go ahead and buy a brand new car. Her car is like a luxury car adjacent thing, and it's only 3 years old. Let's go ahead and just chill with that for a little bit. They wanted to go ahead and buy a house. They want to go ahead and do all this stuff together, but now they can't. No, it's sad. But hey, I usually ask you guys to post your stories, and if you want to do that, please do. But today, just go ahead and comment. What would you do with $100,000? If $100,000 was given to you, what would you do with it? I want to see what you guys would do. Right? I'm don't have that much crazy money, but like, please Please go ahead and comment what you would do with it. I would go ahead and buy a bread route for myself because I work at Walmart. That's a very similar job to what I'm doing, and they get paid more. But what would you guys do? Uh, and of course, got Reddit stories. Please comment them. I have an Instagram. I have Discord if you want to comment it there. If you just want to rant, you can do that. If you want to go ahead and do anything, please let me know. I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you. Please like and subscribe.